Roll call. Here.
Here.
Here. Any conflicts to report? Item 4, approval of minutes of the meeting and June 12, 2014.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Item 8. Bid opening for Northcott Avenue Bridge over the Low Calumet River Bridge Rehab Project.
We've received 4 bids. The first bid is from Ellis Construction Company Incorporated, 3810 East 7th Avenue, Gary, Indiana. We have their Form 96. They have their bid bond, and they have their non-inclusion affidavit signed. Their bid is $394,244.40. The next bid is from Ellis Construction Company, LLC, 9137 Elmwood Drive, Munster, Indiana. It's a different company. They have their Form 96. They have their non-inclusion affidavit signed, and they have their bid bond. And their bid is $446,462.80. The next bid is from Yates Construction Incorporated, P.O. Box 41, Kentland, Indiana. They have their non-inclusion affidavit signed. They have their Form 96. And they have their bid bond. And their bid is $599,824.40. Final bid is from Gary Up Construction Company Incorporated, P.O. Box 64879, Gary, Indiana. They have their Form 96. They have their non-inclusion affidavit signed. And they have their bid bond. Their bid is $458,000. I'd like to make a motion these be referred to the consultant engineer for tabulation and recommendation.
Second.
The motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Janet Vernez with us this morning, and also Councilman Emerson. Item B, contract with Hawk Enterprises for 4th District Decorative Lighting Project from 172nd Place from State Line to Homan Avenue, Howard Avenue, from 176th Place to 171st Street, Monroe Avenue from Locust Street to 165th, Woodlawn from 173rd to 170th Place, and River Drive from Calumet Avenue to Old Columbia Avenue.
I'd like to make a motion that we sign the contracts with Hawk.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item C, recommendation for acceptance of the Grand Calumet Bike Trail from Calumet Avenue to Sheffield Avenue submitted for approval.
The work's completed. This is the state form IC 639 that needs to be signed off once the city is happy with the project, and I've personally walked it, and I recommend that we sign
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
it. Aye.
Ayes have it. Item D, recommendation for acceptance for Columbia Avenue reconstruction submitted for approval.
This is the section from 150th to Michigan Avenue. Work's completed out there now. Everything is acceptable, so I recommend that we sign the IC 639 for that project.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item E, recommendation for demolitions opened on July 17th, 2014, received from Chief of Inspection, Mr. Jim Callahan.
Mr. President, if you recall, the city opened up bids on the 17th for demolition. There were four bids submitted, and the building department's making a recommendation in that correspondence.
Well, it looks like everybody was awarded at least one structure, right?
Well, we went property by property as
Right.
opposed to...
So most of the properties went to JM Industrial. One went to Gary Material Supply at 1241 Highland. One went to Acton at 1427 Sherman. And one,
2034 is going to be rebid. The abatement study was not complete.
okay.
For bid.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of code enforcement for the award of these contracts.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Item F, approved block party request received from the Hammond Police Department.
Make a motion that we approve. No, they approve it.
Yeah, but we still need to concur with their recommendation.
I concur with the recommendation.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item G, business license revocation hearing, Star Foods, 1205 Chicago Street.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
My name is Attorney Steve Haddad, and I'm actually filling in for Mr. Seiden Law Group, who I requested a continuance. We're asking for approximately 2 months to get his affairs in order.
We've been doing this for 2 months already, Chris?
We're trying to do all
Well, is-
We're doing away with it.
Can we maybe go 30 days out? I don't want to go too far. I did have the officer come out today.
There's a recommendation.
To grant a 30-day extension on the hearing?
Correct.
August 28th?
Let me just check to see if it works with the calendar.
Well, the 21st is out, so it's got to be the 28th or in September.
September 4th, is that okay?
September 4th, okay, Chris?
Okay, September 4th will work.
Thank you.
So you make that
nice
recommendation, I'll
evening.
second it.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, September 4th. Item H, disposition of clause number 0811907191, received from Mr. Jerome Head, Dev Group Auto Incorporated.
This one here.
Oh, Mr. President, I'm sorry. That took me a second.
Item H,
Just follows. We're
No, for clarification, if you recall, there was an individual who came before the board last week, and there was no resolution of a criminal case, and it showed it as pending. This does show it as disposed, and we can go ahead and now grant the issuance of a license, business license.
Oh, the one that didn't know he had.
Correct, he didn't know what it was, and he didn't know why it was still pending. That's certification from the Cook County clerk, and it says the case is dismissed.
And that was for an auto license?
Correct.
So he's got the license now, or we got?
Well, no, we can prove that we're satisfied, and we can let the controller know that they can issue the license.
So we need to take action on,
Make a motion, Chris, or just?
Yes, just make a motion that Dev Group Auto Inc., there is no objection from the Board of Works to them being granted a business license.
there's a motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Item I, hearing on property located at 4825 Oak Avenue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gary Matthews. I represent the Tao Lean Group that owns the property. I've got the initial discovery materials from the city and gone through the city's records. I think there's some confusion about the addresses because there's actually 2 dwellings on this property, and they've been there since 1926, but only one seems to be recorded with a street address in the city records. So I think I need to go to Crown Point if I can have another 30 days on this one.
City's no objection.
30 days, 28th of August?
Or just September
28th or September
4th?
4th.
How about September 4th? I think 28th we're doing demo status. It might be this.
September 4th.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item J, hearing on property located at 1916 Calumet, 40 Warren Street, 4927 Toll, 222 Hanover Street, and 4922 Cedar, and 4930 Cedar. Yes, sir.
Good morning again. These are all my clients. 1916 Calumet is owned by John Heldak. We've submitted a floor plan showing the proposed change to this multi-unit building. We're supposed to have an inspection, a walkthrough with Mr. Cook. Just had some trouble scheduling it. I think his office has been very busy. So I'd ask that that be pushed off to the September 4, and hopefully we can get it done by then.
You want to do them one at a time?
Yeah, I would make the same request for 40 Warren Street. We've done an inspection on that with Mr. Cook. He's reviewing it to see what the city would agree to reducing the number of units in that property. Unable to schedule a meeting with him yet.
Okay.
Same with Tommy Culver, which are the last 3, 222 Hanover Street, 4922 Cedar, and 4930 Cedar. Still waiting for a meeting. We did resolve last meeting, the 4th one, 951 Sibley.
Okay, and 4927 Toll.
Yeah, I think the address is wrong there. It should be 4627 Toll.
4627.
And that property is owned by Glenn Barker, and I submitted a stipulation, an agreed order.
Signed it. Do you have that on the agenda? Oh, she's got it.
Okay, where he has agreed to restore the property to a single-family residence, and the work will be done by the end of this year using licensed and approved contractors. So the agreement is asking the board to approve that, give him the time to do that, and there would also be a restrictive covenant filed in Crown Point showing that the property currently and continuously will be used only for single-family dwelling unless the zoning changes.
Can we act on 4627 Toll, and then we'll act on the rest? Somebody?
What is on toll?
Can we act on 4627 Toll?
What is it we're gonna ask for?
It's going to be converted, it's an agreement, it's a written agreement that I did sign, Attorney Matthews signed, and the board needs to approve. It should be in the packet. It's to convert the property back to a single-family dwelling with licensed contractors.
Item J.
DD.
Oh,
DB or DD?
D.
Your files look worse than mine does.
It's item D?
DB, I had it.
Oh, BB.
Board of Works.
It was BB.
BB, agreed order regarding property located at 4627 Cole. Item BB.
So they've agreed to do everything that the code is asked for?
Yeah, well, yes. Code questioned that it was a multi-unit, and so he's converting it back to a single family.
Yeah. Make a motion that we approve
I'll second.
findings.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Regarding the other properties, 1916 Calumet, 40 Warren, 222 Hanover, 4922 Cedar, and 4930 Cedar.
September 4th?
That's fine.
The motion,
Second.
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Chris.
Item K, hearing on property located at 7144 Grand Avenue. 7144 Grand.
Mr. Bender?
Foner. He doesn't appear. Mr. Cook is to schedule an inspection with him, and I don't think that that's gone on yet. I think they've tried to, but Mr. Cook has got a long list of inspections, so I just would like a continuance.
September 4th.
Yeah. September 4th, that's fine.
Make a
Thank
motion we
you.
move this till September 4th.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Rental registration hearing on property located at 4303 Florence Avenue and 4308 Florence Avenue.
Is Mr. Guzman here? Oh.
Yes.
Mr. President, I have that Ms. Guzman has registered on time every year prior to this for both properties.
Are they single family members?
One is 3-unit and the other one is a 4303,
And 08 is
a single.
4 altogether?
What happened was I had sent in the registration and they said they never received it. I have copies that I sent it in. I did send it in on the 7th of April.
I'll make a motion that we waive the late fees of all 4 ordinances which should be registered at the $80.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. So the penalties are waived, but you have to register all 4 units at $80, 30 days in which to do that. You can either pay after the meeting or they'll send you something in the mail.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item M, rental registration hearing on property located at 1448 Hoffman Street.
Mr. President, this property belongs to Eleanor Perez. Sorry, Ferentz, and I have that she's registered on time every year.
Is it a single family man?
Yes,
Just one per?
just one man.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at the $80.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. 30 days, ma'am. Rental registration hearing on property located at 5624 Walter Avenue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. President, I have 4 units. She's owned it since November of 12, and she registered in 13.
Good morning. I purchased the property, or I took possession in July of 13, and there was a tenant existing, one tenant, and I registered that year for that tenant. This year I registered again, however, I submitted a form that had 2013 in the corner. I didn't realize that it was a different form. I just had it on file, and so it was returned to me. When it was returned to me, I went into the office to find out why. And they said it was a year late, but in fact, it was not. It was just a,
14.
yeah.
Ma'am, you live in Olympic Field. Do you own any other properties in the city?
In the city?
This city?
No.
Chris, what did you say, sir?
She registered last year, and she's only owned it since 12, so she has been compliant.
4 units?
Yes.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but all 4 units must be registered at the $80 per unit.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, ma'am, you have 30 days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Item O, rental registration hearing on property located at 6113 Wallace Road.
Mr. President, I have, this is Dorothy and Wayne Lewis, and I have, they've registered, are they here?
Just right behind you.
Oh, sorry. And I have that they've registered on time every year.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it a single family duplex?
Actually, what it is, two-bedroom apartment above the garage, right in back of where we live, like a coach house. Also, it's my cousin that actually lives there, but we still register it, you know.
Do you rent to him, or do you let him stay?
Well, we get a few dollars, but, you know, whenever he wants to pay it, you know. But we've been registering it every year anyway, you know.
I understand.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at the
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, ayes have it.
So we go
Pay the
register.
$80, sir, either after the meeting, or you'll get a notice in the mail.
Well, should we pay it downstairs?
After the meeting.
After the meeting, so give
Oh, we
you
stay here
paperwork.
and pay.
You can pay today, or
Okay.
you can wait until the notice comes in the mail and pay it then.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you.
How you want to do it, you want to wait or stay in there?
Item P, rental registration hearing on property located at 7828 Chestnut Avenue.
Mr. President, I have this belonging to Patricia Bartosik, sorry. I have that she's owned it since 2012 but has never registered it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I had purchased a home for my best friend because he had nowhere to live. It was not a rental property at that time. It was a foreclosure. It had holes in the roof. It had bathroom, it had all kinds of issues. I had asked him to leave. I actually had to make him leave. And since then, it took 10 days and about $4,000 to make this a rental property. It was not ready to be a rental property yet. So as of June 1st, I just got my real official tenants in the house.
June 1st of this year?
Yes.
So you are collecting rent now?
As of June 1st, yes.
But you
Yes.
weren't prior to this.
No, he was just paying the bills on the house. Yeah, that's all I had him do. I mean, I have all kinds of receipts. I have, papers of what we had to do to get this to be a rental property.
Mr. President, if she didn't start renting it until June 1st, 2014, then she would just need to register for 2014.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at the $80.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, what does that mean?
Pay
the $80.
She'll give you an order and you can take it down and register it. Okay. Just have it done to me.
Okay, thank you.
Item Q, rental registration hearing on property located at 20 Elizabeth Street.
All right. Mr. President, I have, this is belonging to Mr. and Mrs. Jones. It's 3 units and it's been registered on time every year.
I see, Mrs. Jones, you live at 20 Elizabeth?
Correct.
So you live in one of the 3 units?
Correct.
So you only rent out 2?
Correct. And we've paid ever since. I have my receipts, like she said.
So I'd like to make a motion that we waive the late fee on 2 of the units. Registered at $80.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 30 days to pay. You pay after the meeting, or you'll get a notice. in
Thank
the
you.
mail.
Thank you.
Item R, rental registration hearing on property located at 2641 170th. Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. President, for this one, I have that she's owned it since 2009, and she registered on time in 11, 12, and 13.
I basically don't remember getting the order, and it was my lack of keeping track of papers.
So which year is in question, Chris?
14, Mr. President.
14 only? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the late fee, but it must be registered. Is it a single family again?
Yes, 1 bedroom, 1 tenant.
And the $80 must be paid within the next 30 days.
Motion? Second. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 30 days, which to pay now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item S, rental registration hearing on properties located at 910 Moore Street, 1138 Moore Street, and 1132 Cleveland Street.
Mr. President, for all 3 of these properties, I show the owners being John and Daisy Andrews, and that they paid on time every year.
But they didn't want to come.
I think John Andrews is passed away. Right. I would recommend that based on the fact that they've registered, paid on time every year, and probably the fact that Mr. Andrews is deceased, probably kept him registered on time this year.
Do we know, Chris, if you guys know if they're all single family?
Mr. President, if you you want, we could pass these over until next week, and then we can try to find that information.
In light of
We don't know how many
circumstances,
units there are.
Right. Okay.
probably a good idea.
Make a motion, we continue this till next week.
Which is?
Second.
28th, 29th, 30th, July 30th?
Motion, second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Item T, rental registration hearing on property located at 1419 Michigan and 1438 Shell.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, now, Mr. President,
I forgot to pay the houses because my daughter, she having a baby and she having too much depression, so I have to take care. She live in Arlington High and I will take care of her. That's why I forgot. It's the first time.
Mr. President,
Okay.
on the 1419 Michigan, Ms. Quiroga, do you live there? Do you live at 1419 Michigan?
No,
Does a relative live there?
no, I rent.
Okay, why do you have a homestead on 1419 Michigan? You have a homestead exemption on the property, which says that that's your house.
No, I never see anything.
Okay. And how many units is 1419 Michigan?
3 bedrooms.
1 unit? 1 apartment?
Yes, it's one house, one.
And how many units is 1438 Shell?
It's the same, it's a small house.
Mr. President, I do have that she's registered on time previously. We'll have to look into the homestead situation on 1419 Michigan, as she says it's a rental.
Find divorce, I don't work,
So you rent them out right now? They are
Yes, I rent, but sometimes I not rent, because the people not rent every time, every month.
So Chris, they're both single?
That is correct, Mr. President.
Ma'am, do you live in Arlington Heights?
Yes,
Who takes care of the properties when you're not around here?
my son,
Okay, he lives around here?
he living here in Hammond.
He lives in where? Here in Hammond?
Yes,
So he keeps an eye on it?
he take care of the houses when something wrong with the house.
I'll make a motion, we waive the late fee, but both units must be registered at $80.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. 30 days in which to pay, ma'am. You can pay after the meeting here, or they will send you a notice in the mail.
Okay,
Both
so,
houses.
how much? For me, because I'm
Both houses,
sorry.
$80.
$80 for each house. Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too. Item U, rental registration hearing on property located at 4848 Magnolia.
Mr. President, I'm doing the next hearing. Mr. President, this is Demetrio Navarez, and I have that he's registered on time every year.
Yeah. I don't know what happened this year. I blame on the bad weather. Too many hours at work. I did not receive a reminder this year. You know, the little reminders I have. And,
From now on, just try to remember it's April 15th on tax day.
yeah.
Every year,
Is it
April
a
15th.
Yeah.
single family?
Yeah, single family.
I'd like to
Yeah.
make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at the $80.
Second. Motion, second. All those in favor? Ayes have it. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Item B, rental registration hearing on property located at 2321 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Mr. President, on 2321 Indianapolis Boulevard, they registered late in 2011, the late fee was waived. They registered late in 2012, the late fee was waived. In addition, 2321 Indianapolis Boulevard is a problem property, that there was a disturbance on June 29th of this year, family disturbance, apartment 4, someone is hitting the female and then left. So considering we've waived the late fee 2 years in a row, and there's police calls to the property, I would ask the board to look long and hard before we waive the late fee a third year.
How many units is it, sir?
It's a four-unit building.
Is that the big brick one up towards the street?
That is correct.
Driveway on the side?
There's no driveway.
How long have you owned it?
I owned it since 2005,
And it's 4 units?
4 units.
Where do you live?
I'm sorry?
Live in Dyer?
I live in Dyer.
Who keeps an eye on the property?
I do.
I mean, do you drive into town and look at it every day?
Yeah, I drive. I work in Chicago, so I stop by after work.
Did you know about the police calls?
I was not aware of that.
Talking about?
I was not aware of that.
How come you always stay late?
This is the second time, and usually we always get the notice. This year,
I was working on the, on one of the units, I looked up at the, I looked up at the stamp and I realized, oh, so I asked my wife, she pays the bills. I said, did you get the stamp? I said, why I didn't get the notice? We usually go by the notice.
How many units is it for? Two?
Chris, do you have a recommendation?
I would recommend that you waive maybe 3 late fees, but impose 1, so he'll remember next year to register in time, and he'll keep an eye on the fights going on in Unit 4.
I'll make a motion that we go with Chris's recommendation.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I'm sorry, did you say Unit 4?
Unit 4 was where the police calls were.
What day? I'm getting evicted. I'm evicting them because of
You
non-payment.
and them, understand there's been police calls in the problem.
This is the first time I
They
hear.
impose 1 late fee of $500 instead of $500 on all 4 units.
Okay,
So
can
you
I-
have to register all units at $80 and then a $500 late fee. They'll give you the paperwork, you can do it after your meeting or they'll mail it to you and anything like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item W, rental registration hearing on property located at 1635 Roberts Avenue and 1637 Roberts.
Mr. President, this is another problem property. He registered late in 2009, paid the late fee. He registered late in 2013, late fee was waived. He didn't register in 14, and the police called this property. All right, let's see, 628 of 13, family disturbance, ex-girlfriend banging on the door. 720 of 13, civil disturbance, apartment 3. 82 of 13, family disturbance, cancel, she left. 84 of 13, burglary, resident, ex-girlfriend broke in. 91 of 13, family disturbance, white male and white female yelling at each other outside. 923 13, family disturbance, Candace Rogers and ex-girlfriend slapped him. 1031 13, family disturbance, apartment 1, Candace Rogers wants removed. 220 of 14, family disturbance, Candace Rogers refusing to get out. 321 14, robbery report, roommate and one of his friends.
Weren't you here last week, sir? Or
Last month.
last month?
Mhm.
The same property, Chris, or, I'm sorry?
Oh, I don't know, all I know is.
Yes.
The same properties, and what was the reason you were here then?
At that point in time, somebody wanted to do an inspection on the property to see if there was illegal apartments.
So Chris, what is your recommendation?
Well, we waived the late fee last year. He registered late in 09, and since he lives down in Lowell, he apparently doesn't know or care what's going on at his property up in White Robertsdale.
Can I speak? I was aware of the problems at the apartment. I was not aware of the police calls.
A lot of police calls.
I wasn't aware of the police calls until the last time that I was here. I had a tenant, a single house, 1 bedroom, 1 person I rented it to. He got a girlfriend, was a big problem. I continuously addressed the issue. I mean, I found her hiding in the basement. We found her in the yard. You know, we did all that we could in order to try and get her out of there.
Except evict the tenant.
The tenant moved out in May of this year. So you're absolutely right. We did not evict him. We did evict. We worked with the state, an organization called SAFI, to allow 1 person to move out of foster care into independent living. That 1 person ended up trying to use the place as a party house. We did evict that person. So in regards to not knowing what's going on at the property, I'm there all the time. I have a daughter that lives on the property also.
You have a daughter that lives on the property.
Yes, I
Nick, you got
do.
anything?
No, after the last hearing, we had determined that we wanted to set up an inspection. I gave them my card, offering to set it up, but I haven't received a call to set up an inspection.
Actually, I didn't get a card. I gave you my phone number.
We need to do the inspection, to see the problem property. How many units was it again?
It is 2 buildings, 4 unit and a 2 unit.
This is a rental registration.
1635.
It's 6 units total.
I would say that we impose a late fee on all 8 units until he completes the inspection. I mean, we were just here a month ago.
I have 6 units,
I think it's a 2 buildings, 6 unit, 1, 2 in the other.
4 units, 2 units.
Okay, 6 units total.
So we want to continue this until the inspection's done?
Well, either that or impose the late fee, and then if he actually allows the inspections that need to be done, set it
I have
aside.
no objection to the inspection, sir.
Maybe he should set it up today before he leaves, because
I'd be glad to
we've been
do.
here on this property.
Well, he hasn't followed through before, so maybe we should.
I did,
Late fees and then.
at the time that it was asked to do the
that after the
inspection,
inspection.
I was asked to give him my phone number. I did. I thought that I was waiting for a phone call. I didn't even know who to call.
Set it up today after the meeting.
Okay.
You want to set the hearing over?
Can we impose and then rescind?
Yeah.
I can make a motion that we not waive the late fee for all 6 units and the units must be registered at $80 per unit within the next.
The other thing is I don't recall being late last year. I mailed my payment in. I received my stickers. I have a canceled check. I mean, I can verify that.
Well, you can.
Well, the bottom line.
I think that the first year that I owned the building, I didn't know
What
that.
we're doing is, we're going in to impose the late fee contingent upon the units being inspected.
Mhm.
And then you can come back and we will rescind the late fee. And, I mean, if the registration was done timely, I mean, you should be here at least on that issue. But the way to get it resolved, get the inspection.
Yeah, I don't have a
done,
problem with the inspection.
Move in with this guy. And
Okay.
there's a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item X, rental registration hearing on property located at 1431 Brown.
Oh, okay. Mr. President, I have this as being Helen Novosel?
Yes.
Okay, and she has registered on time every year previously, only owes for 2014, no problems on the property.
Up until this point, my mom has been pretty good on taking care of the property, but my husband and I are taking over now. She's 85.
Ma'am, you live in Portage?
Yes, I do. So I would like any,
It's a
I
single
think,
family?
yes, any correspondence
Well, when
sent to that
When
address.
she registers, she needs to put her information for the contact information, not her mother. That's the only way we can do it.
Her mother lives at one of the rear unit, right? The rear unit and the front house is around the property. They have been cooperative with getting stuff maintained and but you say a power of attorney, correct now? Okay, so we're working with her to make the transition, make sure the property's maintained.
Very good, and in the records for this property, she isn't the contact now?
She is
Yeah.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
We have her as a contact, it's a 2-unit with the rear unit owner occupied front rental.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Have it. Thank you, ma'am. Item Y, rental registration hearing on property located at 6514 Ohio Avenue.
Mr. President, I don't know if anybody's here on this. I have the owner being Charlie Sims. It's never been registered. Mark Henderson's been a tenant since 2013. It is now registered for 13 or 14, and the owner claims a homestead exemption on the property.
Ms. Sims?
I'm Regina Harris, my mother. It's my mother's property. She suffered from dementia, and we rented it's a single dwelling house, and we rented it out in 2013. We were not aware that we had to register as a rental property, and when we got the notice, the deadline had passed. So we're just here to
Does
see
your
what.
mom still live in the property?
No.
Okay.
She lives with me.
She lives with my
How come they're getting a homestead exemption on it?
We didn't know what we were supposed to. We didn't know anything. We didn't know we were doing anything
I
wrong.
mean, Mr. President, that's why they don't get a notice. We send notices to non-homestead properties. We don't send notices to homestead properties because that's where people are supposed to be living, not renting.
Okay, so it's a rental now?
Yes.
And the city's gonna notice of the auditor's office about the homestead issue?
Correct.
Very good.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes
And
have it.
Mr. President, for 13 and 14?
You rented the house in 13?
13,
When in 2013?
February.
I'd like to rescind my motion.
Okay.
I'd like to waive both late fees for both units. The unit has been registered for 13 years.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. So you owe the registration fee of $80 for both years, 13 and 14. You have 30 days to do that. You can wait until after the meeting, and you can do that here, or you can get a notice in the mail.
So we'll get a notice in the mail as far as what we're supposed to do as far as payment.
You can either do that
Mhm.
for the mail, or you can wait till after the meeting and pay it today. To get the paperwork from the young lady here.
If you do it today, you will need the insurance information, policy number, and expiration date.
We don't have that.
And then you might want to wait for the mailing, it gets done within that 30 days before they get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item Z, rental registration hearing on property located at 7107 Bering Parkway.
All right. Sir, are you Michael Roby?
No, my name is Adam Lulinski. I manage a property for him. I'm with Real Property Management.
Does anybody actually live in the property, 70107 Bering?
Now they do, yes. So he hired us. He has a medical condition. His son lives in Houston. His doctor was in Houston. He was hoping to move back here eventually. I believe he was a professor at Purdue Cal. Didn't work out. He called us in April to hire us. We met him over there. All his belongings were still in the house. To my knowledge, he had like a family friend come over there and cut the grass, wash the house. It had been vacant. Once he moved out, we rented the house out. In May, we came down to register it, and
You were too late.
yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the late fee, but the unit must be registered at $80.
Motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Ayes
So-
have it.
so-
30 days?
Right. I mean, we actually came to register on time.
How long has it been a rental? How many years?
2 months, May 1st.
So only 2014.
Right, because we got a letter from the collections for 2013 as well. So I don't know if all
But
that's
it
gonna be waived.
wasn't rented in 13?
No, it was just basically a vacant house storing his belongings.
So we're talking 1 year, Chris?
Yeah, 1
That
year.
is correct, Mr. President.
Okay. You're good to go. 30 days in which to pay the $80. You can wait until after the meeting. Your choice.
Okay. I
Thank
think
you.
Kelly has one more that didn't make the agenda. Do you have one?
Yes, if that gentleman would come up, 7909 Chestnut?
7909 Chestnut.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm not on the agenda. This is a property that I just purchased in March, and I wasn't aware of the late fee. And when I called to inquire about it, I was told that I had to attend a hearing because there was a late fee imposed. I have no problem
With a tenant living there?
when I purchased it. No, there's
Did you rent it?
I do rent it now.
And when did you first rent it?
Probably like in the middle of April, because we had a lot of work we needed to do to the house before we started renting it.
So it is rented.
It is rented now.
You got that?
Got it? Got a check?
Like to make-
7909 Chestnut.
Make a motion that we waive the late fee, but you gotta register the unit at the $80.
The motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Thank you.
Ayes have it, 30 days. Item 8A, correspondence received requesting rental registration hearing.
September 4th?
September 4th works for me. The motion?
Second.
Second? Ayes have it. Item CC,
That changes.
agreement to rehab property located at 4320 Torrance Avenue.
Mr. President, this is a property that was on the demolition list, and the new owner has agreed to rehabilitate the property per the building commissioner's specifications. I would just ask that you approve that agreement.
Make a motion that we approve the agreement.
Motion second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Item BD, correspondence received from Mr. Gary Gleason regarding a request for placement of a stop sign in the alley.
For Mr. Gleason, we do not put stop signs in alleys. So that's not gonna happen.
So noted. Item EE, correspondence received from the Department of Environmental Management advising of further environmental testing at 4510, 4524, 4532, and 4536 Holman Avenue.
Did you know about this, Dan?
Uh,
They'll be installing soil gas sampling points?
Yeah, that's a common practice near old gas station sites, so we just need to make a motion approving that. So that's the motion that I'll make.
There's a motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item FF, correspondence received from Councilman at Large, Janet Venez, requesting a stop sign at the merge of State Street and Sibley Street with the merge point painted yellow. Additional one-way signs on State Street and speed limit signs and a four-way stop at 171st Street, Spruce Street, Locust Street, and Vine Court.
I'd like to make a motion needs to be referred to Gary Gleason.
Second.
The motion and a second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Item GG, correspondence received from Mr. Fernando Bowie, requesting permission to use the parking lot at the corner of Holman Avenue and Rimbach on Sunday, July 27th, 2014, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a Cruising to Hammond Back to School annual car, truck, and motorcycle show.
Now, he has used it in the past as part of a school function with, what, Dabney?
Well, it says Dabney will no longer be the host for the Cruising to Hammond Back to School. I, Fernando Bowie, a resident, will be coordinating this event independently. I have planning directed the event for the last 3 years for Dabney. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Hammond, several other local Hammond churches will be announcing free school supplies to their members. I mean,
As long as they pick up after themselves, it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he's not giving us too much notice because he wants to do it this Sunday.
I mean, I don't know, is there anything else scheduled for this weekend over there? And it's Sunday, does the Baptist church use that parking lot?
Perovia weekend.
I'll make a motion that we approve it, but we need to let him know that he needs to clean it up afterwards, too.
And subject to nobody else using it, since he hasn't given us too much time to
Yeah.
even investigate it.
Shouldn't he notice up to PD?
Okay, I rescind my motion for a second. What do we want to do, Chris?
We could fax that over to Hammond Police Department after the meeting.
It's from 8 to 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I think the weather's gonna be lousy Sunday anyway, but.
Make my motion that we approve this. A notice needs to be given to PD, and also Mr. Bowie needs to make sure that the parking lot is cleaned up after.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item HH, garage sale permits submitted for approval.
Make a motion that we approve them all.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. Item 6, matters from board members.
I have 3 matters. First one, we have a request from Dayspring Ministries located at 860 State Street. They want permission to block Maywood between Sibley and State on August 9th from the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a back-to-school health fair. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve that request.
Second.
Motion? Second, all those in favor? Ayes have it.
Then I have 4 temporary right-of-way release of easements. These were temporary right-of-ways for the construction of 169th Street under Phase 2. The properties come up for sale now, and these are shown as an issue on the deeds, so they need this documentation. Everything's filled out, we just need to approve it officially by the board.
Second.
Motion, second, all those in favor? Ayes have it.
The final request I have is from Councilman Emerson. I think he's sitting in the back. He wants a sign placed, no trailhead parking sign at the southern end of Lyman Street and beyond the southern end of Lyman and the intersection of Southmore. So I think it had some problems there with people parking to use the trail. There's other trailhead areas along that route that they can use. Now, part of his request is resident-only parking for the most southern block of Lyman. I think we should probably refer both of these to Gary Gleason. Now, the resident-only parking, everybody needs to understand that they have to have stickers if they want to park there. So you need to clarify that with those residents. But I'm going to make a motion that these be referred to Gary Gleason.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Ayes have it. That be it?
Mr. President, just for clarification, usually for resident-only parking, we require a petition signed by the majority of the block members, so it's not just one person trying to impose it upon everybody else in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Item 7, matters from other department heads or their representatives.
Good morning. I'd like to schedule a final hearing for 3 properties that we currently have in front of the board for a legal change of use. 1, 4839 Elm. The initial hearing was 11/29 of 12. 4841 Elm. The initial hearing was 1/17 of 13. And 915 Michigan. The initial hearing was 3/21 of 13. We need to resolve these. We can schedule them a week apart if you like, then we don't take up the whole day.
About, we do one on September 11th, one on the 18th, and one on the 25th.
Motion?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Good morning, Tom.
Hi, how are you? I would like to discuss and look for direction on my request for stop signs that were requested four-way stops at 171st Spruce, Locust, and Vine. That is along Harrison. Harrison, of course, runs north and south. There are stop signs at 177th, 175th, and 173rd, which slow down the traffic.
But they raised to 165th, right?
To 169th,
169.
and then there is not another stop sign until 165th. Now, I did get a response from Gary Gleason, and he said he did a traffic study. There was not enough east-west traffic to substantiate a stop sign at any of these corners. So how do we get some stop signs up on Harrison to try and slow down the traffic that flies from 169th or 73rd to 69th and then to 65th?
He didn't have a recommendation for you?
He referred me to the police department.
Yeah, enforcement of the speed limit is the appropriate way of handling that. Stop signs aren't supposed to be put up without warrant studies that say that they'll make it safer, because sometimes stop signs create accidents.
Okay.
Because they create confusion. Also, they waste energy. People having to stop and go. The posted speed limit out there is probably 25 miles an hour. Maybe we'd be better off putting some police out there on a random basis and ticket some of the speeders.
That will solve the problem temporarily, but
Stop
it's...
sign, if they don't pay attention to the speed limit signs, who's to say they're going to pay attention to the stop sign?
Well, I understand, but I'm getting calls from residents about the speeding down there. I've seen it.
Well, you have to be able to justify the placement of the stop sign.
Okay.
In fact, federal money that we get for roadways, because you're not supposed to put them up without a warrant study that says, yes, this will make it safer based on the common use of a stop sign to create an intersection that can be safely traversed.
Okay. So the only alternative is to have a police car sit there. That's it.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't have to sit there all the time. he can probably hit it randomly. As long as we know there's a problem there, police department traffic will randomly go out there and then use radar. You know, let Gary do the Warren studies. Maybe
He
traffic
did.
flow he's
He
already
did.
done them for this request?
Yes, he did, got a response, because I emailed this request at the beginning of the week, and I carbon copied Gary and Councilman Emerson and Ulaki with the other district request. And Gary did get back to me and said there was not enough east-west traffic. The east-west traffic is not the issue, it's the north-south traffic. And they're just flying. So I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't make the residents feel safer. When cars are just flying from 173rd to 169th, and then all the way down to 165th. There has to be some solution for this.
Well, let's try the police enforcement first. And
I
see
will
what
contact the chief.
Yeah,
Okay.
Let's see what happens with that.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd just like to comment on Councilwoman Vanez. I asked last year, I believe, for a stop. I didn't ask for 3, I just asked for 1 between 165th and 69th. And I apologize to her because I know Gary told me he was going to do a traffic study, and now we know he did, and he's talking about east-west. So I did get complaints too about the speeders down there. One guy, a hit and run actually got hit somewhere around, I want to say Mulberry or Spruce. So it's been an ongoing issue. But I just want to address Attorney Cantar. When you said the majority of the residents for non-resident parking signs, would that be a simple majority? A simple 51%?
What we don't want is one person making the decision for the whole block.
Okay, so if we have 13 residents or whatever on Southmore, 7's a winner. Okay, thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you. Any new business? Any old business? Meeting is now open to the public. Please.
Hi, my name is Maria Molson. Good morning. I'm from Porter's Tap. I'm having a benefit for Officer Craig Barnes at my bar. What I'm asking for is a request for a permit for outside and to block off where the Boilermakers is at, just the half block, just during the daytime, so that I'll have enough. He's an officer. He worked at IHB. I have all this information here, if you'd like to see it. Do I give it to you?
164th place?
Just from the alley.
From the alley, Kennedy to the alley?
September 13th from 1 p.m. till 12 a.m., 6405 Kennedy. And this is a permit request.
Do you have authority to, because you're looking at outdoor liquor sales, right?
Yes.
Are you using the parking?
No, not outdoor liquor sales. The sales will be inside. What we want outside is like, we're gonna have a dunk tank, stuff to bring for donations and everything else like that.
We can
We're having
authorize
food.
the closing of the streets and extra picnic tables and garbage pickup, but she would need to talk to ATC just to make sure that she's okay with the liquor issue, because that's not up to us.
Right.
Are you going to use the Boilermaker parking lot, you said?
Yes.
So they gave you permission for that?
Yeah, well, I have a meeting with them also.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the street closure.
Okay.
That's all
And
right.
this should probably be sent to PD also, right?
Correct.
Subject to.
Send it out.
We're going to send it to
Approve
the
the
police
street
department, just so
closure
they know.
subject
Okay,
to
that's fine.
concurrence by the police department.
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Chairman, you need a second? Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to address the board?